So we are here live today at the first quarter 2026 induction for new members into the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, and as you can see, the stage is set, and the people are about to, the procession is about to start. The new inductees have marched out to start their procession, and in a short while, we will be starting this program, which starts with the procession into the hall. Everything is set. Please, we ask you to please stay tuned and ensure that you follow us. I will bring you everything live here as you follow us. Let me take you to where we'll be having the procession, and so you can follow up. What are they?
They are coming.
Please, can you? The procession is led by Chief Uzoma Onyebadue, the Registrar of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, and he is followed by the new inductees who will become members of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations after this event. Is my voice entering your video? Is my voice entering your video? The prospective inductees who are full of smiles, colorful robe, are filing into the hall in preparation for their induction today. It is a colorful event, and we are excited that at the end of today, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations will be adding to its number these beautiful and professional public relation practitioners. Let's say this one they live for no block am. I say no block am, not say we dey live.
Please see the upstanding. The procession is still going on.
Following the prospective inductees are the principal officers of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations.
This is the procession that is signaling the commencement of today's event. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you have your dear President, Chairman of Governing Council stepping in. Can we give him a big round of applause? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while we still remain upstanding, let's quickly, after the count of 2, let's have the national anthem. 1, 1.5, 2. Yes.
Just get connect. I'm gonna send the phone. Oh no, there. Go to our Facebook, pick it, and the YouTube, Facebook.
Thank you very much. Let's be seated, please. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the President, Chairman, Governing Council of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, we are very, very delighted to welcome all of us to this very important program. That will be the first quarter induction for the year 2026. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you must agree with me that if you eventually are inducted today, you will be the first for the year. Can you give yourself a big round of applause? At this point, I want to very respectfully introduce to us the principal officers of the Institute here present, and probably other dignitaries here with us. You have in your midst a transformative leader and a man that inspires. Above all, I want to say that both you and I are very proud to be members of the Institute as of today. The Institute has existed for over 60 years, but just 3 years ago, a man came on the scene and changed the game. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to very, very respectfully introduce to you a man of character and competence, a man with distinctions across board, a man who has placed the Institute on a global map. I have the pleasure to introduce to you the President, Chairman of Governing Council, NIPR, Dr. Ike. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for all you are doing for the Institute. We will only pray that God will continue to give you the strength and the wisdom to continue to navigate the affairs of the Institute. Seated to him is an Amazon in the house, the woman that is in charge of you today, the inductees. A member of the governing council of the institute, a former chairman of the chapter FCT, and director of public relations and communications at FEMA. But more importantly, she is the chairman, membership services committee at Jamaica Sanusi. Thank you for being here. Of course, we must also recognize the sacrifice you have made to be here today. She was not due to be here, but she said she must answer the call of Mr. President. Let's give her a bigger round of applause. We have also seated in the House another member of the Governing Council, former Commissioner for Information, Adamawa State, Dr. Ahmad Sajo. Thank you for being with us too. Of course, he's also supposed to be in Adamawa today, but he preferred to be where the institute is. We also have another very important personality in our midst, a council member, and more importantly, today he is our keynote speaker, former Commissioner of Information at Akwa State, and then I've also been other commissioners in the state. Comrade Ini Ememobong, thank you very much for being here. We also have in our midst Dr. Peter Oyeneye, a distinguished fellow of the Institute. Thank you very much. We have Commissioner of Police, retired CP Emmanuel Ojukwu. Thank you for joining in. We appreciate you. Mr. Cosmos Uzodinma, the former Chief Press Secretary to the Minister of the City, we appreciate you. Thank you very much for honoring us. We would at this point very respectfully invite to give us a welcome remark, no other than the Chairman, Chapter Support and Development, Dr. Ahmad Sajo. Please, you have the floor.
President, sir, the members of the Governing Council here present, fellows of the institute that are here present, our respected guests that have come. I think my job is very simple. I have not seen the registrar, but I've just seen Mr. Registrar, sir, you're welcome. My job is very simple. I'm standing here on behalf of Professor Emmanuel Samuel, the Vice President and Vice Chairman of the Governing Council. Welcome you all here. And I think, let me welcome you most sincerely, but remind you that by being inducted into the family of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, you are not just being inducted into an institute, but you are inducted into a profession that is among the best in the world. And there's no better time for you to join the institute like now. It might interest you to know that this year in Payawe, Portugal, NIPR Nigeria was adjudged the best public relations association in the world. And by being a member of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, you carry this glory with you. And you're also a member, not just here, but you are recognized as a PR practitioner in all the countries of Africa and in all the 126 countries that are members of the Global Alliance. So you're not just joining a profession in Nigeria, but you have been inducted into becoming a global professional in the practice of public relations. So congratulations to all of you. As we welcome you to this event, listen to everything that you're going to be told. This induction is not being done for the glamour and the pictures that you're taking. It's being done in fulfillment of a legal requirement for you to be accepted as members. That is very solemn and that is very serious. You will take an oath. That oath is very serious. Take it also as seriously as it is. And I want you to believe that you join the profession that will provide you not just a career pathway, but will provide you the strength to practice as a public relations practitioner anywhere in the world. Welcome and God bless you. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. Let's give him a big round of applause. We would want to very respectfully recognize the registrar of the institute, Chief Uzoma Onyebaduri. Let's give him a big round of applause. We also have on our list Ismaila Issa is a special assistant to the governor of Kogi State. Thank you very much for joining us. We also have here Comrade Abbas, the General Secretary Ratau, sitting in for the President of Ratau. Let's clap for him, please. Thank you very much. We also have some of our distinguished fellows of the Institute here. We have our fellow Chinwe Rubuka, who recognize you. Let's give a big round of applause. Fellow Dr. Afolabi Olajuwon, thank you for joining us. We also have our fellow Yemisi Oyekola, thank you very much for being with us. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would very respectfully invite to speak to us this evening, no other than a very fine and refined voice. Of course, when we say he combines handsomeness with brain, you will not have any iota of doubt. You just need to listen when he handles the microphone. Of course, his voice is more refined and more interesting than mine. We have to address us this evening on induction orientation lecture, no other than the man who called the fine man, Comrade Ini Ememobo. If this presentation is not as fine as we have introduced, then I'll give you my card.
Mr. President, members of the Governing Council, distinguished fellows, the Registrar of the Institute, the chapter chairman, our elders, dear colleagues. The danger of allowing my brother Stanley to introduce you, even the president always has palpitations when he does it, because he ends up bringing all the very good adjectives in the world to robe you. And you know, with assessments, they are basically subjective. So one man's food may be another man's poison. So I can imagine in the room now, people are saying, now this one is safe, right? So that, I mean, that's not for me, it's for Stanley. So you're not arguing with me, you're actually arguing with Stanley. But if we all agree, if we agree with the global perspective that all God does is fine, then you agree with him. You agree with him. So my duty is just to walk you through. My challenge with doing this, when the registrar imposed it on me to do it, I almost said no. Reason is that being a lawyer, immediately after you pass through the entire hurdles of becoming a lawyer, and at dinner, someone still has to give a lecture. You're like, look, this is the guy between me and my party. You know, so I'm now putting myself in the shoes of the way you're thinking about me, that I'm part of the problems of not allowing you go to enjoy yourself, especially since it's a public holiday. So I'm going to disappear from here as fast as this would allow me to. So this is just welcoming you to public relations. I'm sure they've taught you a lot of things that you asked yourself, did I need to pay this much to learn this? Other things you have said, so this was in existence, I did not know. Because the truth is, knowledge is already embedded in you. All the teacher does is to facilitate it to come out. So sincerely, there is absolutely nothing absolutely strange and new that you did not know. But now what the training did for you was to bring to the fore those things and to make them important and top of the mind for you. But all of you who are here, if we need to be sincere, we can divide you into two broad groups, how you got here. So the pathways that would have brought you into this hall today. One is voluntary. You just sat down and said, maybe I studied mass communication, maybe I studied communication arts, maybe I studied linguistics. I just need to understand what public relations is about. Maybe I'm like C.P. Ojukwu and I felt that, look, the police is having a bad name and I'm a good person and I need to bridge the gap between that institution and myself and make sure that I can help that institution. And he voluntarily comes to say, I want to understand what public relations is about. So there are two broad groups of people who are here today. Next slide, if you would, whoever is handling that. So the voluntary, those who came here voluntarily, on your own, you just sat down and said, I've been hearing this NIPR, or I've been hearing about public relations, and I need to be here to know. They are the involuntary people whom to make career progression, or your boss just called you and said, there's a new leadership of one organization, they are causing a lot of trouble, and you can't get to the next level if you don't belong to them. They have one new president who is causing trouble. He had issues with the military and defeated the military. He had issues with police. Police are now hurrying there. So please, we don't want issues. If you want this next promotion and still want to keep this your job, you better go and become their member. So there are people who are here because they are forced. They are not really happy. And if I look at your faces, I can spot some of you. So I just say, you people. So whether it was voluntary or not, you're here. You are now in the room. So what you make of this knowledge becomes entirely your business. There are people who involuntarily went to school, but they ended up using the knowledge they got from school for themselves. I remember that when we were in secondary school, there were still people whom their parents brought to secondary school, and I attended a boarding school, and they'll still be crying, and we'll be wondering what's wrong with this one, you know, and they'll be crying, they miss home, and it took a while for them to know. But so those people are the people who now had PhDs very early on in life because they now learned it, despite it was very involuntary. So that you are now in the hall, you now have the knowledge, you are about to be inducted. Just to let you know that you're wearing this very fine attire doesn't mean that you are there yet. We still can do some wicked things to you. You understand? Very wicked things. But I'm not sure the president would do that to you. But just to know before you cross into, you leave that door different from how you came in. So what's the role of the PR professional? I'm sure you've been told what public relations is. And I like that you very well take notes of our own definition of public relations because I found it to be very comprehensive, where it defines it as a leadership function. Never let that leave your side. A leadership function. Meaning that at every point you are, you must understand that if you're performing a leadership function, you are what? A leader. So, what's the role of the PR professional? In every organization you find yourself, you're going to be torn between these two roles. Either you're seen, if you're lucky enough to be seen as a critical team member, meaning that at decisions, you're part of it. When they're about to take decisions in the meeting, in the board, they say, oh, let that PR person come. Lucky you. But there are other organizations that treat PR as an undertaker, meaning that you're a mortuary attendant. The body is dead, you need to make it look good for burial. You were not there during the operation. You were not there in the hospital. When this patient was admitted, you were not there, you were not invited. You don't know whether this patient came in dead on arrival. You were not there when they were trying to resuscitate the patient. Next slide, please. You were not there when they were trying to resuscitate the patient. You were not there to see what the doctors did, whether they actually did their very best. You don't even know whether the doctor that conducted the operation came all the way from a distance just to conduct that operation. But the patient is dead. And they say, where is the mortuary attendant? Where is the mortician? You need to certify this dead, but you need to make it look good for the burial, so it doesn't look like we did a very bad job. So in your organizations, when you leave here from Monday, you're going to be torn between this. So are you a critical member or a stakeholder? Or are you a mortuary attendant? How did we arrive at this? We arrived at this because people before you, people who did management, who thought that PR is something that comes after the fact. When we have taken the decision, go and announce it. So they simply make you a speaker, not the microphone. You don't know what is being said in the microphone. You are simply amplifying what has been said. without adding or being able to turn it in any way. So that has happened in a lot of places. If you're in government, you're going to find that a lot, where you are an information and public relations officer, and the commissioner feels that, no, you're not up to management level, so you cannot attend the management meeting of the Ministry of Works. So when we sit as engineers and finish discussing the issues, we simply give you what to go and announce. But they forget that when you're announcing, people don't care how much you spent on roads. In fact, they don't care the number of kilometers of roads you have done on both. What they care is the impact on the people, because everything centers around humanity. And incidentally, the people in government do not understand that fact. They quantify money. They don't quantify feelings. It is not, I mean, that is why people who have performed, who have both those that can still fail election, because you're not connecting emotionally with the people. And immediately the PR person is a mortician, he cannot help you connect these stories, because you're going to be giving him data, he or she data, that he can only work with. And therefore that data will simply communicate 6.8 billion spent on roads. What's the meaning? What does the market woman in the village understand about 6.8 billion? What's her business with that? She wants to hear of the number of accidents that used to happen on the road that will no longer happen. That's the emotional connection to projects. So when you find yourself in any of this, how you deal with it will determine whether you still be there or you would not be there again. So let me move to beyond how your institution sees you, to most of the challenges you're going to find. Next slide, please. So immediately you land, if you were sent by your director, if your director is as beautiful as Mrs. Sanusi and as friendly as she is, first thing on Monday morning, she would get to the office, say, call me my PR professional. Start calling you ANIPR. She will help you. And now says you're a miracle worker. It means our institution will not have any problems. So, so high expectations. They expect that you're a miracle worker because you've gone for NIPR, you have been equipped. So we cannot have any problems again. Are we together? True or false? It will shock you. Monday morning is waiting. But the next thing you may find is that you may have another director who is not as nice as Mrs. Sanusi, who says we spent a lot of money sending this person there. What did they even learn? Nothing. And begins to hoard information from you. Let me see how he or she would perform. They say you're a miracle worker. They say we won't have problems again. We've been here since, and just because you went for that thing and you wore that gown and took pictures, so we won't have problems again. Let me see how it will work. They begin to hoard information. And so, because others expect that you're a miracle worker, but people are hoarding information, so what do? So you need to begin to prepare that. Then, like football, one of the things you're going to find, everyone has a comment on PR management. The person who failed and was demoted from the last row, oh no, PR is easy. This is how we would have done it. It's just like football. Everyone is a good coach from the bench. Everyone. So expect that the challenges, the potential challenges you're going to have as you get to work on Monday is that while others think you're a superstar, you're back, every problem solved. Any problem, call him. Any problem, call her. The others are going to look at you with cynicism and say that you can't do jack. And they'll make sure that you can't do it. Then every other person is going to have an advice. So meaning that irrespective of what you do, you're not going to please everybody at the same time. Your professional advice that you're going to come with your nose straight to think that immediately you talk, everyone would agree, may not go down that way. But there are guardrails that will help you. Next slide, please. There are guardrails that will help you in the execution. Remember, I'm not giving a lecture. I'm just talking you through things that will come. So what are the guardrails? Ethics. You see, because it's about relationship, it's about management, it's about reputation, it's about perception management. You need to study your environment very well. You need to know what works in Akwa Ibom may not work in Adamawa. What works in one ministry may not work in the next ministry, because the human composition of your ministry is different. The way your boss behaves, because you're going to be working upwards, downwards, and sideways. And so while the engineer simply knows that there are parameters to measure what they are doing, you don't have any parameter. The simple thing is your boss pleased with you? Yes. Are your colleagues pleased with you? Are your publics pleased with you? And it's very difficult for your entire publics to be pleased with you, because the composition of that public is clearly different. And so, dear friends, ethics will be the guide. And I said that ethics is like rear and side mirrors. A friend of mine, while was learning to drive, said to me, these rear and side mirrors are unnecessary distractions. That each time he turns to look at them, he discovers that he has left the track. He's not driving straight again. Oh, I see people nodding. I have witness in the room. The truth is, if you think of the rear and side mirrors as distractions, you're going to keep driving forward, but you're going to be completely blindsided. You're not going to see the blind spots. And someday you realize that some drunk guy will be speeding towards you from behind because you're not used to using it. You would not use it. You know there are many people who never use their rear and side mirrors. And so when someone hits you from behind, if you make it alive, and a road safety person says, please describe. He said, I don't know, you just hit me. He said, you didn't look at the rear mirror. He said, no, I get distracted by it. You will discover that that rear mirror could have saved you. So in practice, what ethics does is to make sure that you're not blindsided. Those blind spots are out there so that you understand. We are not in a profession that manipulates. We are not. We are not in a profession that tells a lie or paints a lie in the colors of truth. No. The core of this is that there is a way you say the truth, even when it doesn't favor you, and it can now attract attention to you in a way. I mean, something goes bad, it gets broken, and someone asks you to say, so what are you saying about this? Are you saying that everything is fine, especially if you're a government spokesperson? One of the things they begin to do, they either get angry. You're talking to your employer. The difference is that the Nigerian voters have not been angry enough to make government officials know that they are their employers. The day you realize that the people you're talking to through a medium are your employers, you know that you have to answer them well. So they say, this thing has happened. They say, yes, first, let me speak not as a public official. Let me speak as an individual. I feel the pain. I acknowledge things are wrong. I acknowledge things are tough. But as a public official, I can say, these are the things government is doing. You need to acknowledge. Don't make the people feel silly. Don't make people think that, there's a way our government people speak about things and you begin to think, are we living in the same world with them? So you don't need to make it's a little admission. But you must also be cautious of the limits of your admission. Because some admission could lead to lawsuits. And then your statement can now become material in law. So you need to understand that is where your toolkit must come in, the boundaries of your admission. Because the whole essence is not to defend government. The whole essence is to ensure that the people who voted government are happy with what government is doing. You're not in a law court where you need the government to win over the people. No, you're in a process of persuading the people to love your brand, whether that brand is government, whether it is an individual, or whether it is a company. So what are the toolkits as we begin to round up? Number one, you need to use your anticipatory measures. You need to use your issue analysis, your threat analysis. You need to do your scenario planning. There's a concept, there's a theory of scenario planning that is called what if. So you begin to just ask carelessly, what if this happened? What if this? So by the time you exhaust what ifs, you would have done a 360 analysis of the issue. So meaning that nothing can take you by surprise. There are things that look very obvious to us because your positionality will determine what you're seeing. You can only see as far as your position allows you to see. And so, but if you do a scenario analysis, it would allow you to see the other things that are not even favorable to you. Lawyers call it the theory of the case, where you're preparing the case of the other party. And so that way, the other party cannot screen surprises to you. So things are going to happen in fast-moving manner that you need to do. And immediately you get back on Monday or before Monday, you need to begin to ask yourself, what are the potential threats that can happen at my workplace? When you're done with that, you do your scenario planning, then you begin to simulate. And at some point you ask yourself, so if this happens and I don't have complete information, what do I do? That is one thing we are not using sufficiently in Nigeria, a holding statement. You are not God. You can't know everything. While we are here, when the APRA secretary left his place, things were normal. But while sitting here, network would go bad and things happen. And he steps out and a journalist calls him. I hear that there is crisis in APRA. If you simply say no, you wouldn't know. You must be honest enough to say, hold on, I am yet to have sufficient information. I will get back to you as soon as I have that information. And if something happens in your company, in government or something, and it's a developing story, you issue a holding statement. We are aware that this has happened. However, investigations are ongoing, and we will provide more information in due course. Because when you say no comments to journalists, that's actually a comment. And you now leave them with sufficient room to impute what they think. Because they will now have to ask other people. So he said no comment, but what do you think about it? It forms part of the news. So you need to do that. You need to anticipate. Secondly, even the president, who has many years, many decades of practice under his belt, has never taken any assignment lightly. An assignment as easy as speaking with you, the president will prepare for it sufficiently. You know why? Because there is no opportunity. There's no second chance to create a first impression. Some of you will be seeing him for the first time and maybe seeing him for the last time, depending on where you're coming from. But the impression he makes on you the first time would not be lost on you. He cannot remake it. He cannot unmake it. So despite having spoken to presidents, won laurels and all of that, not even a single thing does he leave to chance. Please don't leave it to chance. Don't think that it's a very simple task and you can just do as you like. Double check your facts before you publish or you react. One incident just last week, a few days ago, we woke up and saw a supposed tweet from Donald Trump asking Starmer to send back President Tinubu. And anyone who read that would know that that is classic Trump, vintage Trump. But the truth is, he did not make that tweet. Because if you ask AI, address this issue in the tonality of Donald Trump, he will give you exactly, in fact, Trump will say and think he wrote it. Imagine that people would have reacted to that. And credible people, credible news platforms shared it. Whereas all they needed to do was to go to X and check Donald Trump's handle. You see, the desire and need to break news, to be the first to break it, will lead people into crisis. Better true late than fast wrong. Finally, if I don't speak about this one, I'm sure that people will say this guy is in AI. Hi, AI. It's with us. There's nothing you can do about it. The simple rule for AI, please make AI your age. Do not make it your boss. You should feel ashamed to ask AI, please write this for me, then you put your name. You should feel very ashamed. You have donated your brain to the AI. But if you finish writing, there's no harm in saying, edit for me. That way the AI is working for you. Because what you're taking from the AI are from things that others have put in. The AI on its own is stupid, it's blank, it's tabula rasa. But what you get from AI are the contributions that people from all over the world have put there. So what are you contributing? Yourself. So when you tell AI, edit for me, do you know what it does first? It assimilates what you've done. You have now contributed so that when another person asks that question, AI will come to that thing you wrote and also extract something. And so the challenge when you have Eurocentric views on AI is because we are simply users of technology and not contributors to technology. So the only view that AI has is an Eurocentric view of that matter, because the Afrocentric view has not been uploaded, because all we do is to download the Eurocentric view. And so we must contribute to AI. So you ask AI edit, you ask AI rate. So for example, you can finish an argument and put it on and say, rate it for me. And it will begin to tell you on the literary level, this is it, on the logical level. So you learn too from it. And so that before you know, you become AI too. But there's intelligence that is higher than AI, which is HI, human intelligence. Because AI is a result of HI. So at every point, you must try to see whether you are more intelligent than AI. AI must not be more intelligent than you. Sefini on that matter. So the last so that I can leave and not be part of the people delaying you from your party. So what will NIPR do for you? Number one, we will advertise you. See all your fine faces now going on a live stream free of charge. You understand? You don't pay for them, but the world you're going to say, hey, I saw you. You say, oh. So we advertise you, not just you. By the time the registrar is compiling the register of members, your name is there, meaning that you're certified to practice. What that does is it gives you an edge over that your other friend in the office who isn't a member. Because when the president starts his trouble again with all the parastatals, they'll start running before you know you are ahead of the other person. So we advertise you. Number two, we have programs that will build you up, especially this chapter. They train you, they build you up professionally. I didn't want to say holistically because truthfully, when they finish building you up professionally, it would affect every other part of your life. NIPR, the practice of public relations is not just a profession, it will soon become a way of life for you. Because you can't be a good communicator in the office, a good manager of relationship in the office, and you're having issues in your home. Then it means that you're pretending. Because if you apply the rules of managing relationships at office, at home, you would also have a beautiful home. Is it not so? I mean, because the same character that your husband and wife has, you have them among your publics. Even if your husband or wife is on the edge, you have aging people on the public you'll be managing. The difference is when we get home, we take things for granted. So we build you up professionally and we affect every part of your life. Number three, we counsel you. There are times you say, please don't do this. The ethics will help you. Don't do this, don't do that. The one you don't like, we don't like it too. But when it shows up, we have no option. We do what? Please read it now, it's not me. It's on the screen. We do what? We do what? Just say discipline me. Just put me in place of you. We do what? No induction for you. We do what? Okay. So that's the ABCD of what the NIPR will offer for you. We advertise you, we build you up, we counsel you. And thank you, God bless.
Let's give the applause for him. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. I think it did not disappoint us. And then I want to. Oh, thank you. So I can keep my car. Great. So I want to assure you that we have a very, very handsome and beautiful brains in our midst. So you're welcome to the noble profession and great institute. What you have taken free of charge now would have cost you a whole lot of fortune to get. But here you are seated taking it free of charge. Let's give him a bigger round of applause. Thank you very much, Jenny, for that wonderful presentation. We now move straight into the next item on the agenda. 2 minutes each for goodwill messages. I would want to start from the continental body, but before then, let me also quickly let you know that the Secretary General of the African Public Relations Association, APRA, Dr. Omoni Ibieton, is here with us. Let's give him a big round of applause. Thank you very much for finding time to be with us. I hope you don't confuse him to Wale Shoyinka today. Okay, thank you very much. Coincidentally, Doc, you are going to be the first to fire the shots on this segment. So without much ado, please come and take over the microphone as you give the goodwill message from APRA.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, sir, it's so good to see you. I mean, I've been trying to catch up with the speed at which things are rolling up from Anambra to Calabar, and then I'm wondering, when I saw you here, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. The registrar is there. I greet you, my dear brother. Fellow council members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and dear colleagues. The chairman of FCT chapter said they are privileged to have me here. This is my chapter. It's not a privilege. I have an obligation to be here because this is where the journey started before we landed at that place. My chairman, I have a duty to be here. And let me greet especially my dear brother, the lecturer at this occasion, Honorable in MNF. Many of you, I don't know whether you are aware that he was, he's been several things, and he was commissioner of information and later of something bigger in Akwa Ibom before he decided that he's going to do practical public relations combined with law, because he's a member of NIPR, he's a council member, and he's a lawyer. So you have listened to him. Now, quickly, I'm not going to take much of your time, but I want to share with you something that we have taken for granted. And I'm sure that the last speaker must have touched on it, but you may not probably pick that out of it. It is the tool by which we express our profession. Communication. Before now, if you ever thought that communication is merely the transmission of information, you will drop it. It is not just the transmission of information. It is the sharing of meaning. To share meaning, you will connect with somebody intentionally. From that connection, you will share attention. Then you will share goals. Then you will migrate from there to have an understanding. And then you cultivate relationships, you build trust. And that is the sense in which what you do can be beneficial to you, to your brand, and to the nation. So you need to imagine a new definition of communication. It is the currency that all of us need to exist. And what is the commodity we are buying? It is attention, which has been completely disrupted. The ecology of human beings today is so completely disrupted. The human agency, the technological factor. He talked about AI. The world has shifted from what it used to be. So we need to take control as what? The human agency, the other component of digital communication, without which there will be no digital communication. It's a dual structure. It's a dual what? Structure. The human agency and the technology. But the most important factor there is the human agency, not the technology. On its own, the technology is nothing. The other point I want to make at this point is for us to revisit the value of our human person. Nobody is ready to negotiate his importance, his respect. When the last speaker was talking, he said you must imagine the people you are talking to as your employer. Many people probably didn't get the point he made. Okay? Now, there is what is called value, respect. Every human being wants to be valued, wants to be felt, and you cannot communicate with somebody without underlying that process with attaching value, importance, respect, confirmation to that person. Otherwise, it falls flat. Remember that is where you invite attention from. I told you earlier, if communication is what is the currency, the commodity you are buying is attention. Somebody must listen to you before you can pass a message to the person. And you know what, guys? We forget that it is only when we say something that we have communicated. It is not correct. If you ever felt that way, don't think so. Have you ever heard the statement, you cannot not communicate before? Have you? Fantastic. Some of you must have come from Oyo. That's one of the best communication schools in the world, and that's where I picked that from. Back in the days. Look, every behavior is a communicative action. Don't think that because you are silent, that there is no interpretation from your neighbor. Silence is communication. You cannot wear boxer and a t-shirt and take a walk from your house to the neighborhood grocery store that you want to, maybe your toothpaste finished and you forgot and you just want to pick it. And then you run into somebody and I saw you on TV the other day, you were inducted as a member of NIPR. I said, oh yeah, and the person looked at you like this. The president has always said that you will be addressed the way you are dressed. Don't ever be caught making explanation. So I just woke up and found out that the toothpaste is finished and I want to pick. You are not properly dressed. You are not communicating the values of NIPR. Gentlemen and ladies, this is the first public relations association in the world to be chartered. It was chartered in 1990. For those of you who may not be aware, founded in 1963, 15 years after the Chartered of PR in UK was founded. That was in 48. We are in 1963. But we became chartered in 1990, 15 years earlier than the UK was chartered. So you are in the right place, dear colleagues. You are in the right place. And just a few weeks ago, NIPR was awarded the very best PR association in the world by the Global Alliance for PR and Communication Management. I am just saying to you, they said I shouldn't lecture, but I should do what? Goodwill. I extend goodwill to you. And I welcome you to this profession because you are in the right place and you are connected to a history. You have an obligation to deepen that history, make us better. Wherever anybody sees you, they know that you belong to NIPR, not so some corp organizations. I wish you all the best as you join us. God bless you all.
We have a pool of seasoned professionals, and at the NIPR, we are unique. We are not saying this to praise ourselves, but just 2 days ago, the governor of Cross River State also alluded to this fact, that the way the NIPR does its things, very unique. So you can see some of what we are doing, that we're acting what we preach. And I'm so delighted that we are going to receive some of you officially today. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the FCT chapter has become an exporter of leaders. We loan leaders to chapters to go and mentor and then bring them forth. This afternoon, we are delighted to have one of our sons whom we have deployed to Kogi State to ensure that the chapter is up and running. He heard about this program and he said that he must come here to honor the president and then answer the call of his chapter. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor and privilege to call on the Special Advisor Media to the Executive Governor of Kogi State, Ismaila Issa. You have your 2 minutes. Thank you.
Mr. President, council members, fellows, distinguished colleagues, and our soon-to-be inductees. Good afternoon. having the privilege to speak at NIPR events is always nostalgic for me. And today I'm very happy that I have here the person who delivered our induction lecture in Lagos, precisely 27th of May 2009. Professor Peter Oyene is here. Thank you very much, sir. So I became officially inducted, having been a student member before then, that year in Lagos. Thank you, Prof, for everything you taught us that day. Yes, one of the things he told us has just been repeated here by my elder brother who just spoke, that we should always dress well everywhere we go. And from that day, working in the agency system there in Lagos, that has given us a lot of opportunities, seeking for clients, and then also making our mark in the industry. On this note, I'm very grateful to be here on behalf of our colleagues from Kogi State, where I'm currently serving. I hope the inductees from Kogi are here. Can we see you? Let's see your hand. Thank you very much. We are blessed to have you. Mr. President, we are very grateful for the opportunity you've given us to resuscitate our chapter after over 10 years of not being active here in Kogi State. And we are using this platform to appeal, sir, that you graciously let our chapter transit into full operation before the Kaduna AGM. That's the message from our people in Kogi, so that we can be there as a chapter, even though we know we're a baby of the Abuja chapter, so we can be there as a chapter.
Chairman, chapter support.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, for our inductees, it's been a privilege for us to have you here. And one thing that I will tell you about NIPR is that it can make you really great. It can make you really great, and you must take this opportunity and embrace it fully, because as one of you, I have seen how my transition from journalism into PR practice and communications practice has really been enabled by my joining the NIPR. At a point in Lagos, when I was voted as the best young talent in the industry, I knew how many agencies offered me opportunity to come and work for them. At a point, I had 8 agencies wanting me to work for them in Lagos. And that has really helped me to grow the way I've been and all the opportunities that I've gotten. When I came to Abuja to practice, I also have noticed how my being a member of NIPR has helped even my company to get a lot of deals from the government, because they need somebody who is a member of our institute to be on that list of company executives before some of the contracts were given. And that has helped me greatly. So I want to enjoin you to take this opportunity very seriously and work as a member and be the best in your organization. On the point by our guest speaker, Mr. Ini, who spoke very well, the point of us being critical members of our is no less apt for those of us who are in government space. Very, very critical. And I hope that at some point, the institute will have the opportunity to engage with some of our employers, especially in the political setting. In the public sector, somehow some of our members have become directors and senior members in the organization, and they can force some kind of policy tweaking to allow us not to just be spectators in the decision making, but also be active participants in decision making, so we are not undertakers. So in that way, I want to employ all of us that at whatever point you might find yourself, either in the critical decision makers or as undertakers, you should not be overwhelmed. Don't give up, don't be despaired, because that transition happens sometimes not for a long time. You might become part of the other side just within a time or within a term, depending on what place you are serving. And I want to also emphasize that you must not disparage the people who are your employers or your colleagues in the course of working in the place. Because as PR people, we must exemplify the best conduct, because that's what our ethics expect of us. On behalf of my colleagues from Lokoja who have sent me to come here and show solidarity with our new inductees and our leaders in the NIPR, I want to once again congratulate our new members and to say that your journey in the industry has just begun and is going to be a success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are also glad inform us that we have the CEO of a very big organization in South Africa who has joined us online, and I'll be reading his comment so far, applauding what is happening here. His name is Ayere Kenneth. Thank you very much for being online with us. Want to also inform that we have over 200 participants of this program online. Let's give them a big round of applause. It means what we are doing today is very, very remarkable and significant. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the last but not the least on the lineup of goodwill messages is no other than the Secretary General of Ratau, Mr. Apauso. Please come and give us a goodwill message. Before he gets there, let me also remark that the president of Ratau is unavoidably absent because he's currently in Oka. He had tried to fly in, but he couldn't make it. That is why he is sending a representative. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much, the MC, and a very good public relations officer. And the president of the Institute, Chairman, Governing Council, permit me to adopt the existing protocol. Like you said, I am here on behalf of my president of Radio, Television, Theatre, and Broadcast Union, Nigeria, Ratau, who is also a partner to the mission and vision of the NIPR. I am here to congratulate the inductees and also congratulate the Institute for turning out a large number of public relations practitioners. The Institute has done so well. In fact, the members seated here, you are just lucky because you are coming at a time that Nigeria needs you. If you know what is going on, even in our own country, the environment is so hot anywhere you go. If you enter the buses, in the market, in the church, anywhere, you'll be hearing what people are saying about your country, Nigeria. It is left for you to defend Nigeria because we don't have any other country than Nigeria. When people continue to criticize your own country, does it mean that there are no good things coming out of Nazareth? We have good things coming out of Nazareth, and it is your duty to preach that gospel. Let me particularly identify myself with my brother, the former commissioner in Akwa State, comrade in the Ekwabong, because I'm equally a comrade. He has preached a very good sermon on information management. Information management. If you are in the government sector, which I was in those days, there is a way you can manage information that it will not lead to the escalation of crisis. The moment you manage information very well, especially those of you that you will find yourself, because tomorrow, as ambassador, you will be posted to to different sectors of life in Nigeria. You have to manage information very, very well. So on behalf of the president and on behalf of the union, I want to congratulate all the inductees, and I wish you very well. And I say again that Nigeria needs you. Please don't disappoint Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give him a big round of applause. He has given you a charge. Thank you, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think we are drawing very close to the highlight of today's event. But before then, in NIPR, we have procedure of doing things. We introduced a personality here before now. It is now time for the inductees to be officially introduced to Mr. President, Chairman of Governing Council. And to do us that honor is no other than the Chairman, Membership Services Committee, a distinguished fellow of the Institute, Haja Mariam Sanusi. It's now time for you to do your role.
Wow, what did you notice? That since this program started, no woman, no lady rose up. Can you give me a big round of applause? So my very distinguished prospective inductees, the time has come. We are now about to face the business of the day on why we are all here. Let me first of all congratulate you all. Welcome you to NIPR, a very noble profession. Some of you have been practicing it, but you just want to align because of the laws. You know, the institute is established by law. It's not an association. It's not a society. It is established by law. I think it's now Decree 1990, now Cap 114 of the laws of the Federation 2004. So your profession is not an association, it's established by law. And by coming here to get inducted today, you are doing the right thing. May this induction be the beginning of fulfilling journey in the public relations field. I wish you all the best and a very successful career ahead. But like I was introduced, the business of today is presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, can you all rise for the president? To see all of you before other procedures go on. Mr. President, I hereby make a presentation, humbly present these prospective inductees of handsome and beautiful ladies. The total number of 421. We have about 84 who went through executive master class, membership class, executive membership class. I'm sure some of you who didn't read mass communication directly went through this. Am I right? And those that read what is related to public relations directly, mass communication, marketing, and the rest, got direct induction, admission. And they are about 337. So we're having a total of 421 members, prospective members who are supposed to be inducted today. Mr. President, I hereby present them to you. So without wasting time, I want to call on the registrar of the institute to administer the induction oath to the member, to the president. Mr. Registrar, it is time for administration of induction oath by the Registrar Secretary to Council, Chief Uzoma Onyebadwe, a fellow of the institute.
Thank you, Madam Sanusi, for that beautiful presentation. Mr. President, sir, may I have your permission to administer the oath? Thank you, sir. Please hold your oath forms on your left hand, then raise your right hand. and you repeat after me. Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay, when I say I, you mention your name, then we continue. I, having been considered for admission into the membership of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, do solemnly affirm to the best of my ability to preserve and defend the bylaws of the Institute and uphold its code of ethics and professional standards as approved by the Council, and to also be up to date, and to also be up to date, and to also be up to date, and as at when due, in my financial responsibilities. In my financial responsibilities to the Institute, in order to maintain my status as member of the Institute. So help me God. Having administered this oath of induction, may I, with reverent humility and profound respect, invite Mr. President, who may wish to induct these candidates. Mr. President, please.
Thank you. Please be seated because I have to speak a little. After that, I will consider if we are to go ahead with induction or it should be postponed. Exactly. Don't forget that today is still a public holiday. And our friends who are Muslim worshippers ought to be celebrating this time, but they loaned this time to us and said we should go ahead. Madam Fellow. So, depending on how it goes, we may go back and tell them to withdraw the mandate that they gave us, and we move it. Thank you very much for those of you that participated in the master class. It's been a very interesting time, or rather what we now call a executive membership class, because we have repackaged what we are doing. I just want to touch a few areas. I want to thank the lecturer for today, who did very well in his bid. I think somebody should be thinking of promoting him as an associate professor because he delivered very well. And the upcoming Professor Wole Soyinka in our midst. We thank you, Sekjen. Thank you very, very much. CP and Dr. Olajuwon, Princess, we thank all of you for finding the time to join us. Dr. Yene, fellow Grace, and a lot of others. Those online, I welcome you all to joining us. Today is very important. For a number of reasons. For a number of reasons, this is very important to us. But before then, before I go into the body of what I want to say to you, I want to remind you that we have 3 important programs coming up. First one is on the 30th of March, when we are bringing together women of Nigeria under the platform of NIPR International Women's Day. That's the first time the Institute is having that. And thank you. The reason is very simple. We want to practice inclusion as much as possible.
Those of you who were with us on the platform this morning will recall that we had a guest speaker all the way from Australia who took us on the dynamics of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it went very well. That will be followed by Nigeria Public Relations Week. We are going to Kaduna with the AGM, the annual general meeting. Kaduna is ready for us. The governor himself has decided to lead in front so that others can follow him. The program is supposed to have been from 20th, but we are now starting on the 16th. Because on the 16th, we are having a workshop for all traditional rulers in Kaduna State. Then on the 17th, we are going to have another program for all top public servants in Kaduna State. And then on the 19th, young people, we're going to have a time with them. So it's a whole lot of activity. Don't miss it. If you have not registered, please go and register. But before then, there is one other program that I forgot. The vice president of this institute will be giving his annual inaugural lecture. Somebody collected my water and ran away with it. Can that person please give me my water? Somebody is helping you over there. So the vice president will be giving his inaugural lecture. Usually, inaugural lecture is something you do once you become a professor. But he's been a professor now for over 20 years. He didn't want to give that inaugural lecture. But because this year, the NIPR University of Public Relations and Leadership will be inaugurated. The first in the world will be inaugurated in November. And it will be in Gudi, Nasarawa State. He felt that he should now give his inaugural lecture as part of inaugurating that university. So it's very significant. And we have decided that it is our institute's affair because he's our vice president, Professor Dandara. So we are backing him up. All of us will be there on the 15th, and from there we'll proceed to Kaduna. And then the biggest of all of them, thank you. The biggest of all of them is in November 2026. Your institute, your country, Nigeria, will be hosting the World Public Relations Forum. It's a platform of 126 countries coming here to come and see how we are driving responsible communication. It's a very big thing, very, very big. This will be the second time in Africa and the first in West Africa and Nigeria. And it didn't come cheap. It was tough. But that's not all. We are combining this with the 37th Conference of African Public Relations Association. So you can see how rich it is. That is the APRA conference. Mr. SG, is it 37 or 38?
You mean the APRA conference?
Yes.
It will be 36.
Oh, 36. I gave you one plus. I gave you plus one. Okay, 36th. And all our delegates from Africa are coming to now host the international delegates. So it's beautiful. Nigeria will host Africa. Africa will host the world. All happening in Abuja from 15th to 21st of November 2026. It's going to be a great gathering. And it's on this note that I am giving what I want to give as my address, which I title Reputation as Core Asset. Reputation as Core Asset, a tale of two scenarios. Daniel Bwala's head-to-head interview on Al Jazeera and BBC's report on President Tinubu's ongoing visit to the United Kingdom. You know, one of the things that I want us to take away from this induction is to beg the registrar of the institute to help us with this hall. If they are not going to improve on the AC, shouldn't bring us here again. We are not Christmas rats, sweating so profusely, because wearing this gown is not easy. You know, I have almost exhausted one handkerchief, and I have to call for another. So please join me to beg registrar and DPR to deliver us from this trouble, so that we can be comforted. Everybody is carrying fan. Registrar? It's part of the ritual, sir. Ritual? Now you know your registrar. Let me be very clear from the outset, and this is very important. This is not, what I'm going to say is not about an individual. It is about a system. It's about a process, and it is about, thank you. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm just corrected that it's 37, so yeah, thank you. Not corrected, you were right. But I now say 36, so I'm correcting it again. Thank you, thank you. And like I was saying, this is not about an individual. It's about a system, it's about a process, it's about a procedure, it's about a structure of doing things. And the reason why I am using this is because it provides a case study for us to learn and improve on what we are doing as public relations practitioners. Our first responsibility to this country is as reputation ambassadors. If we cannot add value to the reputation of Federal Republic of Nigeria, then we have an issue. So it is from this angle that I'm saying so. Secondly, it's about strategic management of Nigeria's reputation capital in an era where perception travels faster than policy. And this is very important. And I need you to understand it very, very clearly from that perspective. When that interview broke, so many people called me from different parts of this country, highly placed people, and they were very concerned. And they said, President, is NIP not going to say anything? You just kept quiet and so on. And I told each of them, and if they are listening to me, they will confirm. I said, NIPR is not a civil society organization. NIPR is not an activist organization. NIPR is not a union. NIPR is an institute. What that means is that whatever we are doing must be scientific. It must not be based on emotion. Because in our climb, emotion rules logic. Once you do something, you are first of all judged from the perception of emotion instead of how it makes sense or how it doesn't make sense. So we said we refrain from every statement whatsoever until we subject it to a scientific study. So just recently, a few days ago, we received a report from an organization that did a very brilliant work, GASKI NG Accountability Series. They released their March 2026 report titled Silence the Noise, the Bwala Reputation Report Audit, the Bwala Reputation Audit. So, what does this report say? The report provides a structured assessment using the classical pillars of persuasion, which others can call ethos, logos, and pathos. Its findings are both revealing and sobering. It may disappoint some people, and it may excite some people. First is the issue of credibility, and that is ethos. This emerged as the weakest link because the messenger could be as good as the message. If the message is strong and the messenger is weak, the messenger will corrupt the message. And as a result of that, people will not likely listen to even the message of the messenger, because credibility goes before content. It is who you are that will speak for you even before you come into the room. That's why we talk about reputation. The guest lecturer shared with us a simple thing about President Trump, the tweet that was made in his name. And everybody assumed that that is what he would likely say. Nobody bothered to go and find out. They just okay, no, this is Trump's language. The same thing happened in Oka on Friday when we had a summit in Anambra State. Chief Osita Chidoka, who was making a remark at that event, gave us a scenario, and he said that somebody, a lady who was earlier married and now divorced, and then was writing things on social media, and people were, somehow. But he now said that if you introduced that lady to Governor Chukuma Soludo, that the likely question would be, Nnekedo, I heard that you're no longer living with your husband. What actually went wrong? I think you need to look at it again. You know, these things about life, it's not always like that, and so on. Every other thing he has left it, but this is the issue he's addressing. And the reality is that such a thing never happened. But some people will believe, because truly, that is the likely thing that Governor Chukuma Soludo will do. That is what perception does to reputation. Once people begin to feel that this is how you are, they judge you based on what they perceive that you must have done. That's why we say that reputation is a core asset. Don't joke with it. So in the area of credibility, our friend scored very weak mark. Then we come to the second part, which is strength of argument. In other words, the logos. And he performed slightly better. Those who watched it would see that in terms of argument, that he argued. He made his case. He tried to make assertions, and so on and so forth. Okay? So he did well in that area. And then the third one, audience response, which revealed deep polarization with minimal persuasion of undecided viewers. Those who came into that place to listen, to see what was going on, were not convinced, because the fact overpowered the logic. And that's what you must learn. And your logic is excellent, it will not be very difficult to be punctured. So the performance was very engaging, yet the persuasion was limited. The impact was limited. And this is what we must understand as the performance trap. The performance trap is that most times politicians speak to the gallery. Statesmen speak from the gallery. Because politicians are like music conductors. They face you in the gallery and they're telling you things that will bring out applause. All they want is applause. If it means telling you that last night he walked with his two hands on the ground and two legs up, and you are clapping for him, he has made his mark. But statesmen or statesmen will speak based on facts and so on. That's why statesmen are not usually elected, because they're very forthright and truthful. You see this Dr. Ibieto, if he goes into politics, I don't know what he will do to him. So distinguished colleagues, the point being made is that in today's media environment, visibility is not victory. You can be visible everywhere, but you are not victorious in your context. And that's very important. Please take note of that. Eloquence without credibility is a fragile asset because it will not take time for it to be punctured. You can be very eloquent. There used to be somebody that would speak and speak and speak, and he said, go and verify. Until people began to take it seriously. And they went and started verifying. And then they discovered that the verification and the outcome did not align. Because the person didn't think that people will actually go to verify. But Nigerians are fast becoming judgmental on public communication. So they will go and check. And once it is not aligning, there is a problem there. Number 3, viral moments are not strategic wins. That you release something and it went viral, it does not score any strategic wins for you at the end of the day. And this is very important for us. So global platforms such as head-to-head are not domestic arenas. They are not domestic arenas. You can do everything and bamboozle Nigerians, but when you get out, the story is these are the outcome of the reports that I'm giving to you. They are not domestic arenas. So things are different. They are diplomatic theaters. Every outing, I learned this over 20-something years ago under my then boss. When he told me, he said, every outing is an examination. It's either you pass or you fail. And for you to pass, you must prepare for it as an exam. Otherwise, you will fail. And I'm telling all of you, don't jump into doing things because they said come and do. I stopped being an emergency speaker since I became president of NIPR. If you call me, I say, sorry, I'm not available. For the one, I'm not prepared. Because the very day I will come and put ease where was ought to be, you people will carry me as a viral subject. Yeah. So please note it. If you are not prepared, don't go for it. And don't come and say, I didn't know it will go that way. It is part of the preparation process to know how it will go and ask all the questions you need to ask. Otherwise, it is not by force. So, in the arenas that we have today, 3 expectations prevail. First, calm reasoning over confrontation. Confrontation can only expose that you lack content and you are trying to make up. Number 2, evidence over assertion shows very clearly. If you don't have evidence, whatever you're asserting is null and void. Number 3, credibility will always overcome charisma. You see this person, they say he's a very charismatic speaker. If he doesn't have credibility, it is equals to nothing. When these expectations are not met, the consequences extend beyond the individual. And this is where we are concerned. Because they touch the reputation capital of the nation. I know how many people that have sent messages to me on that interview as a member of the board of Global Alliance. And I keep, managing it and so on and so forth. Because people are watching. Since April last year, the world began to watch Nigeria. Once we were given the hosting right for WPRF. So they keep engaging with me and so on and so forth. So this is very, very important. It is beyond just you. It is now a very, very serious issue. Let us therefore remember that reputation capital is not an abstract. It influences the way investors look at your nation or even look at you as a person to know if they will have confidence in doing business with you. It emphasizes diplomatic trust. Media framing comes from your reputation. And ultimately, determining your national competitiveness is a product of your reputation. This report in question suggests that perception in key urban hubs like Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, was particularly weak. They just felt very bad. These are not ordinary locations, and you must know they are gateway through which Nigeria is interpreted by the world. So how they perceive things in Lagos, in Abuja, is very serious for the reputation capital of the nation. However, we must also approach this with professional discipline. Yet, excuse me, even with the limitations of the report, the strategic lessons remain undeniable. Excuse me. We are meant to see the lesson to be learned from this, and I list them as I conclude. First and foremost, the messenger can either strengthen or undermine the message. Number two, responsibility is on the messenger, not the message. And because we are practitioners, we must take this very seriously. As public relations people, we are not merely storytellers. We are custodians of national integrity, national reputation, national credibility. We must ensure that those who speak for Nigeria on global platforms are, first of all, prepared, not reactive, consistent, not contradictory. You can't come and tell us that what you said yesterday, it was not you that said it, even when the evidence is very clear. If you made a mistake, admit that you made a mistake. What you saw the other day, you no longer saw it now or yesterday. You are seeing something different. That is credibility. And you know, he tried to do it initially when he was talking about context. And then the guy overpowered him and he caved in and began to do denial. Because some people teach in their own field that if you are not sure, deny it. It's not true, because the facts will always be there. So if you said so, okay, somebody said he's a lawyer, and lawyers deny things. I'm not the one that said so, it's somebody there, you know. So we must learn these things. We must internalize whatever we are doing so as to go far in this profession. Distinguished inductees, as you join this noble institute, you inherit a profound responsibility. You are not just to shape campaigns, you are shaping perception. And perception in today's world is power, because the power of your perception determines. I will show the one. I said I will tell you when to show this. Now, innocent. This thing has been here since. So, let this moment serve as a call to elevate standards. I now come to the second one. You know, I said there are two scenarios. I've shared the second one. This information, you can now show it, was sent to me by a board member of Global Alliance. The person just sent it to me this afternoon. I didn't even see the report. It was the person that sent it. And that was the visit of the president to United Kingdom. And you can't get it up again. So, now if you look at this photograph, it gives you a complete impression, a packaged reception. This is number one person in Nigeria with his wife, and the number one in UK and his wife. But look at the story that is behind it. And this is from BBC. It says, BBC News, King Charles has hosted Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu and First Lady Oluremi Tinubu in a spectacular state banquet. Spectacular state banquet. This is Nigeria's first state visit to the UK for 37 years. And the question that I asked, say, what happened? 37 years? What's going on? Yeah, have we not been having leaders? How come? 37 years ago. And it goes on, and he said, and such visits are a way of building relationships with international partners. After greeting 160 guests in the Yoruba language, the king spoke of the living bridge. That means the king spoke in Yoruba language. What that meant is that somebody must have taught him. And that meant he prepared for it. So now go and prepare. So that, and he knew that by speaking in that way, he was going to connect to the president, his wife, and then the people that are there that speak Yoruba. Are we getting the public relations component of it? Sorry? Ministry. Exactly. Exactly. And then the report goes on. He says of the Nigerian community in the UK, in a speech in St. George's Hall at Windsor Castle, there were adaptations to the visit, adaptations, things that they had to change from what it used to be. With the banquet taking place in the fascinating month of Ramadan, a prayer room was set aside in Windsor Castle, and the usual lunch hosted by the king on such state visits did not take place because the president was fasting. Okay? So it now had to be a dinner. It's become a tradition to invent a cocktail for state visits. And in this case, the Crimson Bloom was made from non-alcoholic ingredients, combining the Nigerian drink Zobo with English rose soda and hibiscus and ginger syrup. So, as a Nigerian, what impression does this give you? Now, like I said, it was somebody from board of Global Alliance that sent this to me. The same way they sent to me the one of Daniel Douala. It's for you to understand how these things work. The same way they sent it with a lot of thumbs down. Okay? This one has some thumbs up and so on. When I read it, I didn't know what to say. But I'm now telling you as PR people, when something is sent to you and you are not sure how to respond so that they don't hold it against you, whether it is good or it is bad, because people in our space, sometimes traps are set for us. So what do? You just say indeed. Now, indeed can be positive, it can be negative. I will not be indeed. So I simply said indeed. And that ended the matter. So, distinguished colleagues, to safeguard the reputation of our great nation is a task for each and every one of us. Because in the end, nations are not only judged by what they do, they are judged by how convincingly, how consistently, and how credibly they tell their story. In November, Nigeria has the opportunity to tell her story to Africa and Africa to the world. How we tell it is up to us. If you have not registered, please go and register, because it cannot be that those that will come from outside will now be greater than us in number. If they do, they will dominate us, who are the hosts. In those days, as I conclude, when teams go to play away match, one of the things they are conscious of is home crowd. But imagine if they now get into the stadium and they discover that the flying crowd that came from outside, the number is bigger than the home crowd. Certainly they will take over. And that's where victory starts and loss begins to happen. Please go and register. It is a responsibility that you owe to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that we must tell our story in a way that when they leave this country, they'll be saying, wow, two things have happened. Last year, during the December executive membership class, we had somebody from Global Alliance, the person that chairs the board on what we call the Venice Pledge, Principles of AI. It was a wonderful thing. Later, when we met her at another event, and somebody asked her, what is your impression about Nigeria? She said, I didn't give Nigeria any credit until after that engagement. Why? Because we brought out our best in AI in Nigeria. They thought that we are just, because they will ask you, what is the level of development of AI in Nigeria? You should answer. What is this, and you answer. So we brought our best, and they had firework. Somebody like Celeste Nachi was on fire. We had to get the National Public Relations Officer of Fire Service to bring water into the room to make sure that he was quelled. And the lady said, after that engagement, I respect Nigeria. I'm looking forward to coming to Nigeria in November. The same thing happened this morning when we had an engagement on the DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion framework. The lady who spoke to us, who chairs that council, is from Australia under Global Alliance. And when we finished, she sent a note to me. And she said, I look forward to coming to Nigeria. He said, that was great. I'm reading what she wrote. Said, that was great. Congratulations to you and your great team. I look forward to meeting the panelists and others in November. That is selling your nation from a different perspective. That is the practice of public relations. Yesterday, we talked to you about activity public relations. This is what it is. God bless you. You can now stand. Let me now consider I'm going to ask you 3 questions. If you get the answers, we'll induct you. If you don't get the answers, you will repeat. So, question number 1. By the power conferred on me as President, Chairman of Council of this institute, question number 1. Following the promulgation of the Act establishing this institute by Cap N114, Laws of the Federation 2004, which was a residual of the Gazette, the decree number 16 of 1st June 1990. And with that power conferred on me, question number 2, I hope you are writing it down. Question number 2, such powers are given to President of the Institute to induct those who are successful. Question number 3, I hereby induct you. Congratulations.
I'm taking 2.
Let's hold on. Mr. President, have you inducted? Okay. So let's give ourselves a big round of applause. Congratulations. I think we can now respectfully call you professional colleagues. Yes. So when you hear this language in this balance, you know that you are one. When we use the acronym PC, that means professional colleague. Okay, from the advice from your chairman, he said you can now flip your exactly. Take to the left, switch. This one is digital switch over or cap switch over. You can be seated, please. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think you can now see one house, please, one house. One house, please. For Mr. President to be speaking before 4 ACs, I don't know how many horsepowers, and he was sweating. It means that the enormosity of the job of the institute is actually heavy. I would want to appeal to all of us to keep praying for our president. It's only those of us who are very close that will understand the task of building first the institute, then secondly the reputation of Nigeria. As we speak, when he lives here now, another very high profile event is after the Monday, and that will be the investiture of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State as patron of the Institute. That is a big ceremony. Immediately he leaves that, the next day he's on his way to Zambia. To do what? To keep propagating and keep winning souls to come down to Nigeria for the World Public Relations Forum. By the time he comes in on the 28th, on 30th, the Institute has another big event, the maiden edition of International Women's Day, which is very, very critical. And from the feedback so far, Nigerians and even the international communities are very proud of the Institute. As soon as that is over, on the 30th, on the 31st, is on his way to Akwa Ibom, to Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, again, to perform very serious functions of the Institute. As we speak, from now till November 2026, I don't know whether there is space for the calendar. And if you go back from when he started till date, you discover that what ordinarily would have taken us 25 to 30 years to achieve as an institute is achieved in 2 years or 2.5 years. I think Mr. President deserves a big round of applause. And that is the point I am making in soliciting for your prayers, because it is not easy. But before we go into the next item on the agenda, I want to also advise that the profession of public relations and the practice of it do not come like a tea party. If you want to be professional in the sense or the real sense of it, you must be ready to sacrifice your time and talent as well. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, okay, come up. Immediately after the chairman of Membership Services Committee, we are going to take the theme song of the World Public Relations Forum. After that, we shall be inviting Mr. President to make a symbolic presentation of the certificate, Then we take our vote of thanks and that will be the end of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman of the FCT chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of my responsibilities as Chairman Membership Services, I want to inform all of you here that induction today is the beginning of you being very responsible, committed, passionate, dedicated to your chapters. FCT chapter holds its monthly meeting every last Wednesday of the month, and it is done here in this hall. Those of us online and those of us seated here that do not belong to the FCT chapter, please contact your chapters. It is important that you meet with your chapters. Most of these chapters offer professional platforms. They do a lot of things. Most of these activities, flagship activities of the institute, are being told at chapter meetings. And that is where you have opportunities to pay your dues. Being a member without being responsible in paying your dues is not good enough. The chapter does a lot. We pay the staff with some of these dues, so don't play with it. It is not much. If you allow it to accumulate, that's when it becomes an issue. But if you pay monthly or quarterly, it is fine. So please, what is important here now is that you have become members, you must be responsible, you must represent the institute in good light, and you must attend monthly meetings because it is binding. These things count in voting and being voted for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The woman that will continue to shatter the ceilings. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's have the World Public Relations team song.
And privilege to unveil the World Public Relations for Abuja 2026 with the Lord. From Africa to the world, say Nigeria opens a golden page. Ideas so loud and stories unite. Public relations, they can fly. We can shine, the top of the sky.
Welcome to Nigeria for WBRF Abuja 2026. Africa will give to the world the biggest brightest and gentlest congregation. Together we rise. No harm.
Thank you very much. Together we rise to give the entire world the biggest, boldest, brightest World Public Relations Forum. Let's give ourselves a big round of applause. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now have the honor to invite the registrar of the Institute. And then, like the registrar will always say, with humility so profound, and then removing the cap very small, I also respectfully invite Mr. President, Chairman of Governing Council, to perform this last function for this event before we call it to close. The face has changed.
Freeze.
Okay.
Mr. President, sir, may I, with reverent humility and profound respect, indulge you to, issue out the certificates as a symbolic gesture to the inductees, Mr. President. Can we have Grace Zipporah Ike approach the podium, please?
They say capacity chair. She's the chairperson or chairman. The chairman, your chairman. Good. I like that. Chairman, because chairman is an office. Whether it's a man or a woman, chairman is the office. And that is what is in your constitution. So she's the chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, SCT chapter. Our strategic partners, we're partnering with ADJ. And this one is the capacity chair.
We're in the Women's Month, so we have more women here than men. So men, please bear with us. Can we have Abdullahi Hadiza Buddha please approach Mr. President?
Hadiza, congratulations. Many of you have forced the registrar. You know the last one, they called only men. You recall? They called only men and we protested. And we now have to go and bring a woman. So this time we have more women than men. Congratulations.
Well, as another means of congratulating the men, we have the first man on the list. Egwatu Elem Iken Chimobi. Please approach Mr. President.
Okay, well, this is younger brother to my colleague in the office, Chidima Awak. So he's in the house. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can we have Okeke Evelyn Wamaka approach the podium, please?
Are you a model? We need you for World Public Relations Forum. Get registered. You registered already. See, I saw it. Congratulations. Come.
Thank you. For the second man that is lucky, we have Kwaza Toye Akiga. Please approach the podium. Kwaza Toye Akiga.
Delighted to present this certificate to you. Hope this will spur you to do more for the profession and for the nation. Congratulations.
Can we have the last person on this call? Anika Ezia Jideka.
Anika, congratulations. I saw you listening attentively. I pray that you will add value to this profession and this institute. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who went through the executive membership class, you will have heard the name Oludalri Oguyombo. He's the chairman training, and then he has done very, very well. From preparing the executive membership class as students through preparation of other inductees to this moment, he has really been working very, very hard. On this note, I want to very respectfully invite the chairman training committee, Dr. Oludare Oguyombo.
Before then, one of our veterans, I understand, is here. Madam Ifilo.
Can you hear me?
Please hold on, chair.
Good evening, everyone.
Please hold on, chair. 1 second.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Madam Ifilo.
Where is she?
Aha. Ifilo served this profession, this nation, as president of NAWAJ. NAWAJ is National Association of Women Journalists. And she served very well. So you can't just come and go and hide somewhere. Congratulations. We're happy to have you. Well done, well done, well done, well done. Thirty years after graduation as Maxcom student, she's now in the doctorate. You can now go and see no more.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. President. Congratulations and yes, Mr. Evening. Dr. Dare, please, you have the virtual podium to address us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The President, Chairman of Council, Dr. Ekedeya, Vice President, Vice Chairman, Council, Professor Emmanuel Dandara, all council members, they are present, fellows, they are present. Now, hold and new members present as able to induct the over 400 new members today and growing the numbers. And all our invited guests, distinguished members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the President and Chairman of Council, I wish to thank each and every one of us for attending this induction ceremony. And despite the fact that today is public holiday, the attendance at this event still shows our commitment and is a reflection of our desire to ensure that our institute keeps growing. Thank you very much for taking out time to come. To our AMC candidates who are now full members of the institute, I want to say welcome to each and every one of you. And I say again, Mr. President, with all due respect, that this candidates were very, very diligent at what they did. They paid attention to everything that was moved by you and the council. They took on all their assignments very well, and they were very attentive, attended all the sessions. So I say thank you and welcome to each and every one of them. For those who came in through the direct induction, I also say welcome to this profession that is in every other profession that you can think of. But I want to advise each and every one of us here to ensure that we avail ourselves of all the training and professional development opportunities that are available and provided by the institute. I am particularly happy today, Mr. President. I just want to mention this as part of the development that our programs is driving across different states in Nigeria. I remember last year in Kano, I was there for the chair for the conference of public relations professional international institutions. I can see Dr. Peter Odeye, yes, the chairman of that particular conference, and we met with a young man who was Kogi State University and who wanted us to ensure that Kogi State chapter takes up fully. I took that message to the registrar, and I'm happy that today we now have mentorship going on for Kogi State chapter. I'm very, very happy. And that is a testimony to the fact that in NIPR, so long as you are willing to do what the institute requires of you to call a professional, we will offer support as much as possible. So I want to thank the Kogi State chapter, the chapter for taking up mentorship. I want to congratulate Kogi chapter for starting up now, and I'm really looking forward to the programs. They embrace the programs that the two have put themselves. And on this, I said, please, each and every one of us here, including the new members, I want to support what the president has said, because it is part of our professional development activity. If you are here to register for the NPR week in Kaduna, you are missing out on something. Please go and register. If you are here to register for the World Publication Forum, do not miss out on this global competition of world press, the best in the world in terms of publication. Please go and register so that together we all can drive this profession to greater heights. Mr. President, members of council, and all our distinguished guests, I want to say thank you very much for attending this event, and by the grace of God, we will see again soon when we'll be having the second quarter FCPD EMC event that will also bring other people into the profession. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Lord. Thank you, thank you. With that, I think that is a vote of thanks, and then we call this event to a close. But just to let us know that we are going to take our procession in reverse order, meaning that the president first, followed by council members, then followed by distinguished fellows of the institute, members will follow, associates will follow. Also note that you have 10-15 minutes to take photographs outside, and then you come back for certificate collection. Lastly, as you are coming in, please ensure to scan the QR code if you are of FCT chapter, so that you will be fully documented for further information. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and like the registrar with humility so profound, we invite Mr. President to lead the procession in reverse order. Thank you, sir.
Come here. Okay, so Let me take a shot with the stage. On the stage. I am ready to look for.
I just give this a watch. Dear viewers, this is the end of the induction program, which we now have new members who have been inducted into the institute, and they are now professional colleagues. As you can see, the photo section is going on. New members are taking photos with their loved ones, and there is also photo section outside. No, like.
Oh no, music is loud. I'm excited because it's not like a small group, like it's a big thing with a lot of people, and I'm interested in the networking opportunities as well as opportunities to serve, and there's so much to learn and be, and I look forward to it.
How will you use the profession? How is it going to impact what you know and how you study your
Okay, so I'm already into hospitality, and we're very big on client relations and communication. So like this is becoming a member of NIDR. It's like an opportunity to relate better, manage reputation better, manage image better branding, better marketing, and I look forward to the other opportunities available. Thank you.
Okay, so that was one of the newly inducted members, and we'll see if we can speak to another person.
No, you say what you're feeling now. You don't put it in. You say now. Hey.
So the photo section is going on, and new members are having pictures, taking pictures with the president and the principal officers. Okay, so please, what is your name and then how do you feel about the induction today?
Oh, my name is Gilbert Kiaka. Good news. I think I feel very happy. It is a privilege. It's a privilege, and that come once. I mean, it's very rare in someone's life. It's a new feather added to my life story. So I'm very happy to have been inducted as a member of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. So,
being a member now, how do you think this will affect or have effect in your workplace?
Yes, it will aid me more. I think being a member open doors of opportunities, and I can be given maybe more responsibility based on my qualification as being inducted. So as a member being inducted, I work in the Federal Ministry of Information. Being the kind of work I do as an information officer, I think one of the core duty we take on is to ensure we build the image of the society, the government of Nigeria, and all that. So I think this is an addition, being a member of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
This is you today. I don't know. I'm hosting a video program. I don't know. Maybe so Michael, I'll just tell you to get
Good evening.
Good evening.
We see that you are excited being a member of NIPR today. How do you feel?
Well, just like you said, I'm excited, and this moment marks not just a personal milestone for me. It is a bridge between my roots, that's journalism, and me marching forward into the dynamic world of public relations. I'm indeed happy. because it's going to build my, profession, talking, credibility, and integrity. Of course, we know communication is a lifeblood of every society or nation. You have to build trust. You have to shape the narrative, drive change. So that's exactly what I know I'm coming on board also to do as the chairman of the Nigeria Union of Journalists. And of course, it's all about leadership. So as a leader now, I've got so much to do, talking, strategic communication, ensure that I build reputation, ensure that it's all about relationship, building relationship aside reputation. It's all about image making. So I'm indeed happy because I'm going to learn very well as a champion of national integrity and credibility. So I'm happy.
Can you give a very short assessment of the induction? What you've seen, what do you think, and what advice can you give to other people who are supposed to be in the profession but are still regarded as quack and not?
Okay, so for my little assessment, with the president's speech, he's a very humble person, the president himself, and I observed that everyone who took turn to preach, to talk and give lecture, they spoke very, very well, and they talked more about, professionalism and excellence. Whatever you do, it must be top notch. So I sincerely want to appreciate all they've been doing to carry everyone along and to impact positively in the next generation. And then to my colleagues out there who are yet to be inducted, you are missing a lot. If you're not here, you're nowhere. So I also want to urge you to take this bold step and register and get to be inducted and be a member of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations. And of course, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Chairman, thank you.
Thank you very much.
What is your name again?
My name is Grace Ike, Chairman, Nigeria Union of Journalists, FCT Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are happy to have you on board.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
We're not sending the right message. We're not sending the right signal. So we have to do this as often as possible. And for our members, I'll be very surprised if anybody who has been inducted into the institute will say that, because they know that through various forums, through the monthly meetings in the chapters where we organize seminars every month, we keep advocating for professional development. But more importantly, we keep advocating for value. Nigeria belongs to all of us. It doesn't belong to President Bola Tinubu. It doesn't belong to your governor. It belongs to every citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God has put them in authority as leaders. We have to help them. We have to draw their attention to the things that they may not ordinarily see. And that's why we are doing what we are doing. Today at the hall, you had us discuss about the issue of reputation and implication when things are not handled properly. It affects me, it affects you. Because as a Nigerian, when you set out to go and travel to another country, you are treated based on the reputation about your country. So it concerns you. You want to go and borrow money. Others will get it at 7%, you will get it at 27% because of the risk that is associated with your reputation. If your reputation is weak, the risk element is considered to be very high and you pay for it. So it's in our own interest to ensure that we do what we ought to do in the overall goodness of Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Everywhere.
Yes.
Our dear viewers, it has been an interesting time with the induction, first quarter induction of the 2026 of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. And today you can see that the newly inducted members are happy. Everywhere is bubbling. They are collecting their certificates inside, and people are excited to be members of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. As of today, we had over 400 people who were inducted into the institute and we are also we are expecting that these people who have been inducted today will uphold the ethics of professionalism of public relations, and also uphold the integrity of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. We want to thank you for staying tuned. We want to thank you for being part of this live broadcast today, and want always join us. Please remember to this channel, and also follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, X, which is Twitter, and every other of the social media handles. Thank you for being part of this, and thank you.
Very